Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about that Florida Dollar General shooting that happened in Jacksonville the other day and how it is 100% another false flag by the U.S. government. And specifically, I have no problem saying that because of the fact that when you look at exactly what it's being done for, it's 100% being done to attack Trump's voter base at this point. 100% across the board. When you look into it, you had Trump under that bullshit indictment this week. You had him, going off to basically be booked into Fulton County Jail there in Georgia. I think it was like Thursday or something like that. Since then, you've had blacks for Trump, Arabics for Trump, etc., come out of the woodwork. And like everybody, pretty much everybody, Rainbow Coalition backing him at this point. And when I say Rainbow Coalition, I'm talking about the old, think of the Black Panthers did back in the 70s where it was like black, white, Asian, Latino, etc., etc. And that's exactly what it is, dude. It's, you have everybody backing a man now, and they're trying to racially divide us for 2024 is what it is. That's exactly what this is about. It's racial division is what it is, dude. It's the same exact bullshit they pulled with the Tops fucking false flag. What was that, like a year or so ago now? And it's what they continue to do every single time that they can. But yet, the media themselves are the biggest fucking scumbags ever because they will never discuss the black-on-black crime that goes on every day in every single one of these major cities, including Jacksonville. They will never discuss the black-on-white hate crimes that happen pretty much on a daily basis. They will never talk about the black-on-Asian hate crimes that happen every day in this country, etc., etc. But yet, they'll hark on this shit. Oh, and by the way, the thing that leads this mostly being a false flag attack is the fact that you had not one, not two, but three different manifestos that this guy supposedly left behind. And they were all released within hours of the fucking shooting happening. But yet, what's it been? 3 months, 4 months now since the Nashville shooting? We still haven't got the manifesto? Yeah, that's some suspect ass shit right there, dude. And that should tell everybody everything they know right there, honestly. And hell, how the fuck do we know that the so-called manifestos that were left behind by the supposed shooters, what it is there, weren't a fucking bunch of FBI copy and paste in Nashville shit, dude? And the only difference is that they removed a bunch of religious stuff and put in a bunch of like basically they removed Christian and put in black or something there. Because I could totally see that happening, honestly, man. And that's what's the most suspect thing about the whole thing is, honestly. It's like, yeah, it's so fucking convenient, dude, that you have them, first of all, describing this as a mass shooting, which doesn't even qualify for that thing, because we actually look into the definition of mass shootings back in the day. What it used to actually be, it was supposed to be 4 or more, not including the shooter dead. Then it was, I believe they changed it after that to 4 or more, including the shooter dead, depending on if they self-inflicted or if they were taken out by cops or whatever the case be. And then it went down to 3 or more dead, and like a couple wounded, I think is what it was at that point. And then it went to 3 or more wounded. So, yeah, they have to keep changing the definition of what a mass shooting is to actually qualify as a mass shooting. If you actually want to qualify it as anything, this was a spree killing. That's what it was. It was a spree killing, most likely done by the U.S. government, most likely done by, under like MK Ultra would be my guess, honestly, at this point, because that's the thing. They keep doing all kinds of shady shit, and obviously I was watching AK Nation News' video last night about his stream there, and I'm not sure, because he showed 2 different videos is what was there, and I think the first one was supposed to be the guy that they claimed did this and shit. And the thing is, they keep trying to claim, media keeps trying to claim racism and shit on this whole thing. That dude wasn't racist at all, dude. He was speaking the truth of what happened to him when he was robbed by a couple of black dudes in the past and stuff like that. And then, conveniently, had a, quote, meth and beer fund that somebody gave at least, like, $500 to in a super chat. It's like, yeah, that's not shady as fuck at all, considering that, the dude had supposedly used a Glock and a Poverty Pony AR, like a PSA or Adult Team Tactical or something like that would have cost about that same price as what it is. So, yeah, it's like, and again, it reminds me of Tops, it reminds me of Uvalde, even for that matter. It's like, yeah, you have the feds fucking buying these people's guns for them, dude, to do these massacres and creating fucking MK Ultra agents to go snap off, basically, to do these massacres, as it would be then. So, yeah, the whole thing is fishy as fuck, honestly. And what's even worse is, and I've said this to people before, man, you live in a constitutional carry state. Fucking carry a gun with you wherever you go anymore. Because you never know when some crazy motherfucker is going to come out of the woodwork and start blasting. You need to be ready to defend yourself, man. Seriously, don't be a fucking victim. Be the hero. Be the person that puts that motherfucker down. For real. And what's even more retarded is, and this is something that a bunch of leftists were bringing out last night, which is how you had, in this whole situation, the guy who supposedly did this had been Baker acted back in 2017. Should have been a prohibited person and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, he probably wasn't prohibited because, shocker, fucking government fails again, or not even government fails again, government purposefully fails again to stop a fucking massacre from happening. And you all wonder what I'm talking about with that when I'm talking about the Texas church shooting some years ago that was stopped by the, I'm trying to think of the guy's name, Stephen Williford, I think that's what the guy's name was, that grabbed his own AR and was an NRA instructor and stuff like that and then smoked that dude in the neck and shit is what it was. But yeah, the guy who did that shit, he should have been a prohibited person. He should have been dishonorably discharged from the military because he was actually dishonorably discharged from the military. He should have been on his permanent record and never owned guns in this country. But yet, meanwhile, fucking government failure there. They didn't bother putting it on the record and stuff like that, so he was able to go buy weapons legally is what it was in that time. And it's kind of the same shit with this dude, I'm guessing, honestly, with the Baker Act thing. And that's the thing, man. And truthfully, it could be something, too, where even, like, here's the thing. Just because you're Baker acted and stuff like that, dude, doesn't mean you couldn't be getting your rights restored and stuff like that. Like, it could have been something where it was like the guy was like not deemed insane or whatever the case be, and then he basically fought for like several years or whatever to get his rights restored is what it was then. So, you know, like there's obviously, you know, what you call it to that and stuff like that. Or again, it could be something where who the fuck's to say they didn't just buy him a shit if that be the case, dude. I'm not sure if Florida's technically a private seller state or not, because I'm sure they're going to attack that if that be the case, if it is actually. Because that's what they love to do, man. That's what the Democrats love to do in this country. They love to fucking create tragedy so that they can try to push for more gun control and restrict your rights is what it is. And I'm so fucking sick and tired of it, man. I really am. And of course, the media's going to hark on this shit for the next, you know, few days to a week or so probably until they create the next mass shooter is what it's going to be, dude. Because that's what it is at the end of the day, you know? And Honda's talked about this several times in his chat in the last probably year or so. And I didn't even realize this until I brought it up the first time, which is apparently back in the, it was between like the 60s and 80s, somewhere in there, like 60s, 70s, someplace there, where you had a bunch of mass killers and stuff like that. You had a bunch of serial killers back in those days. And when that happened, you would basically have the media report on that being like, oh yeah, you know, like 10 people were stabbed to death in like various places or whatever over the last 6 weeks or something. And like this was the modus operandi, the person that was doing this, and it was basically they were claiming they were trying to help the actual cops to get, you know, information and leads and stuff like that to the arrest these killers and stuff. The problem is what happened is it was kind of like the Streisand effect thing where, you know, the more people don't want you to see it, the more you're going to see it kind of thing. Well, I guess technically it wouldn't qualify as that, but anyway, basically what it was like them blasting it out there. It was actually creating more copycat killers then. And so you had like the Hillside Strangler or something, for instance. You would have like 3 or 4 copycats of that dude, and there would be people going out there and like strangling somebody to death or whatever then. And they finally figured out like, oh shit, we probably shouldn't report on this anymore. And they stopped reporting on it. And shocker, guess what? The shit went away. But now, what's it been? 10, 15 years or so, give or take, in this country? You've had the media continue to report on every single mass shooting that happens or shit they try to claim to qualify as a mass shooting. And then, you know, a couple days later, oh my God, there's another one. A few days after that, oh my God, there's another one. Stop giving these fucking pussy-ass bitches fucking notoriety, dude. Seriously. That's the problem right now. They are literally giving them notoriety to inspire the next fucking killer out there is what it is. Being like, well, this guy got 15 minutes of fame and shit like that. I should go do the same exact thing and get my 15 minutes of fame kind of thing. And it's like, no, it's fucking stupid, dude. You stop reporting on the shit and it's going to decrease the motherfucker real quick is what it is. And this is exactly what I said before. We are to a point in history where our founding fathers would have never understood the media being as corrupt as it is, dude. And this is exactly why the media should no longer be covering our freedom of the press at all. The mainstream media specifically. Because of the fact that they are not fucking journalists anymore. They are not the news anymore. They are not press at all anymore. They are literally just a bunch of fucking puppets for various bullshit like Operation Mockingbird. And it's to the point right now where they should be actively held accountable, lawsuitably and arrestable for every time that one of these massacres happens because they're helping create the goddamn things at this point. So, anyway. So, going back to the actual video here, or the actual news article here I'm going to read about with this whole thing. This is from, I believe, CBS, I want to say. Yeah, it said 3 killed in, quote, racially motivated shooting at Dollar General store in Jacksonville, Florida. Sheriff says 3 people were killed in a shooting Saturday afternoon at Dollar General store in Jacksonville, Florida. The authorities said it was racially motivated. The suspect died by suicide, officials said. So here's my problem with that, right? So they'll sit there and they'll call this shit racially motivated. Within less than a day, it was literally like an hour after it happened, they were going off on racial motivation and stuff like that. But yet, the fucking Nashville shooter, who was trans and hated Christians, they won't call that a religious attack. They won't call that religious hate crimes, religious persecution, etc. Very fucking suspect, media. Again, why your asses shouldn't be covering freedom of the press anymore. You fucking scumbags. Anyways, this is a news conference Saturday evening. Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters said the suspect, described as a, quote, white male in his early 20s, entered a Dollar General after 1 p.m. and opened fire, killing 3 people. All victims were black, Waters said. He targeted a certain group of people. That was black people, is what the sheriff said. Suspect then died from self-inflicted gunshot wound. Waters disclosed his name was not initially released. No one else was wounded in the shooting. Victims, 2 males and 1 female, were not immediately identified. Suspect was wearing a tactical vest and mask and armed with a Glock and an AR-15 style rifle. You ever notice how they say AR-15 style rifle? For all the fuck we know, that could have been something like a Kel-Tec Sub 2000, like that one dude used in the fucking Illinois attack a while ago. They didn't team up fuckboy is what it was. Or it could be something like, I don't know, a fucking 22 conversion kit kind of deal there, whatever the case be, where it's basically like a 22 and an AR stock kind of configuration, or it could be like a 15-22 for all the fuck we know at that point, dude. So, anyway. Or it could be anything for that matter. It could be a damn bullpup. It could be a fucking bullpup shotgun. Hell, it could have been an AR shotgun for all the fuck we know, dude. So, anyway. So, there's a news conference. Jacksonville Mayor Dana Deegan called the shooting a, quote, hate-filled crime. By the way, she's a piece of shit Democrat who literally failed her city many, many times over as the mayor. And they all do, man. She'll sit there and call this hate-filled crime, but yet she won't talk about the black-on-black murders going on in her city every single day is what it is, dude. Where you have gangbangers walking around shooting people, where you have gangbangers trying to kill other gangbangers, and having stray bullets hit and kill innocent kids in their own homes. That's what's fucked up, dude. Is all the innocent bystanders get killed by these idiots out there, these fucking criminals out there that aren't being arrested and prosecuted to the full extent of the law is what it is. But yet, oh my God, fucking let's create a mass shooting event here, conveniently right after everybody's backing Trump and actually coming together and saying, fuck you, elites. Yeah, not suspect at all, is it? No, just leave that away over here, man. No, it's absolute fucking bullshit, dude. It's 100% that way. And that's the problem right now. It's a way to distract us from all coming together against the fucking globalist tyrants in this country. That's what it really is. It's just to distract us what it is. Like every single one of these shootings are, dude. Anyway. It's a suspect who lived in Jacksonville, Clay County with his parents. Authorities authored, quote, several manifestos, including one to his parents, another to the media, and a third to federal agents. Again, you're not going to do shit like that, dude. And I guarantee the federal agents, quote unquote, were the ones that did every single one of these fucking things, dude. At 1:18 p.m. local time, Shooter told his father to check his computer, and by 1:53 p.m., Shooter's family called Clay County Sheriff's Office. It was already too late at that point. The shooting already happened. It says gunman's journals. Yeah, because he had a bunch of journals, dude. Detailed his disgusting ideology of hate. In them, the gunman also disclosed that the shooting was, quote, racially motivated and he hate black people. Yeah, because you're really going to leave journals behind that say that shit, dude. Sure. This isn't MK Ultra or a false flag or anything like that, dude. It says gunman acted completely alone and was not believed to be part of any larger groups. Says Shooter was previously involved. Here we go. Shooter was previously involved in a 2016 domestic incident for which he was not arrested. Waters disclosed. In 2017, according to Waters, the shooter was also committed under Florida's Baker Act, which is a law that allows law enforcement officers and certain medical professionals to involuntarily institutionalize people who could be considered should be danger to themselves or others for up to 72 hours. Again, 6 years ago, this motherfucker was Baker acted, dude. That alone should have made him a person at that point. So how the hell did he get the gun? Or sorry, guns. Because it was a handgun and a long gun. Anyway, it says officers at Jacksonville's office, sheriff's office, and firefighters at Jacksonville's fire and rescue were on the scene investigating, along with members of FBI. FBI, quote, will pursue the incident as a hate crime, said Sherry Oaks, special agent in charge of Jacksonville field office. The exact circumstances leading up to the shooting were still unclear. Says Mayor Deegan previously told CBS affiliate that following the killings, the suspect had barricaded himself inside the store. One shooting is too much, but these mass shootings, which this doesn't qualify as, you stupid bitch, are really hard to take. Yeah, how about you talk about the killings going on in your fucking city every day, bitch, when you got fucking black people just standing outside of a club and you got a bunch of gangbangers running up on them with fucking full auto Glock switches on their Glocks and opening fucking fire on the crowd, you dumb whore. Anyway, says Deegan said Saturday night that she was, quote, so sorry we have failed you in the way we have to the black community. Fuck you, lady, you fucking apologistic piece of shit. So fucking ridiculous. She needs to resign from office immediately, dude, and be tossed the fuck out of office and nothing else. It said, quote, and she continued on, said, quote, I will do anything in my power to I will do anything in my power not to do that going forward. Oh, to not fail them going forward. Or you could just resign from office, lady, because you already failed them many, many times over what it is. So the prayer vigils after the shooting, community members locked arms in unity. Some city councilman whose name I cannot pronounce because it's fucking ridiculous right there. I guess I could just call him Kobe Pittman. Told the local affiliate this makes no sense. It does if it's MK Ultra, bro. It makes complete sense at that point. It does if you're trying to distract away from everything else. It does if you're trying to break up the unity of the fucking United States right now behind Donald Trump. And you're trying to basically cause racial division and a possible race war before the 2024 election cycle. Makes 100% perfect sense then. And that's exactly what the fucking globalist leaders are trying to do right now, dude. Anyways, guy continued on, said, very, very angry right now, emotional. We have kids in this community seeing all of this, and this is unnecessary. It's unjust. We can't walk on the sidewalks, not safe in any stores. And it's not from white people either, dude. It's from your own people is what it is at that point. Seriously. You know, you talk about not being able to walk on the sidewalks. From who, dude? The fucking drive-bys being done by black gang members? Or Latino gang members or something for that matter, even? You know? Because again, that's another thing too. You got black on Latino, Latino on black, etc. There, there's big ass crimes in this country as well. So, anyway, it said meanwhile nearby, Edwards Waters University said in a campus safety alert during the incident that all students were kept safe in the residence halls. University said the shooting was not believed to have been involved in any campus facility, staff, or students. A statement provided to CBS Dollar General said that it was heartbroken by the senseless act of violence and occurred at their Kings Road store, adding that supporting our Jacksonville employees and the DC family impacted by the tragedy is a top priority as we work closely with law enforcement. Attorney General Merrick Garland was briefed on the shooting. CBS News learned, and in a statement, Malinakis, Homeland Security Secretary, said that he had spoken with Deegan and his agency was, quote, closely monitoring the situation that they created, by the way. Says attack occurred as tens of thousands of people gathered at National Mall in Washington, D.C. to commence the 60th anniversary. There you go again. Commence the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington, where MLK did the I Have a Dream speech. I love how I love how the media tries to like weave that shit into. By the way, they're like, "Oh, but look, during this entire time, you had the 60th anniversary march going on over here, and meanwhile, you had some dude over here kill some people of a different race." Yeah, it's 100% them trying to fucking do shit, dude. To try to create a race war in this country, and I'm fucking sick and tired of it, dude. And that's the thing, and this is what really pisses me off too. By the way, so you got the media; they'll sit there and like they'll bash the fucking crazy ass white dude or whatever the case be, that probably shouldn't have been on to begin with. And yet, meanwhile, and when I say probably shouldn't be on to begin with, I mean probably should have been actually locked in an institution where he couldn't be at all, straight jacketed up in the rubber room or something like that kind of thing. But yet, meanwhile, they will sit there and they will bullshit and not mention a fucking word about how you have these, a lot of black females coming out nowadays going like full black supremacists and talking about often white people in record numbers and stuff like that, dude, or anybody that, since any of this shit's happened, come out there and be like, you have a bunch of these gangbanger types stuff like that coming out and being like, yeah, we should just off all white people and stuff like that. And it's like, they're the fucking threats, dude, for real. Like, they're talking about actually killing white people and shit like that, dude. And going on like killing freeze of whites and shit. But then you got these fucking retarded DNC shows like that idiot Chris Morey being all like, oh, but we should totally believe that white men are the threat because the fucking government told us to. It's like, fuck you, you DNC sack of shit. And I'm about to bring some receipts too on this one. Well, one of them I can't actually substantiate, but I do find this one. This is one of the things I found in one of the comment sections on Reddit on Twitter last night, which I thought was pretty interesting. And then we're going to talk about one of the other ones too that I actually called some guy out on yesterday. So this is the thing I cannot substantiate on this one, where it was a breaking Jacksonville gunman left manifesto saying he hated black people, had gun with Nazi symbols, and as this guy pointed out, said, also had several Nazi flags with fold marks and a receipt for an AR-15 all sitting comfortably on his bed for the investigators to find. I'm not sure if that was in like another article that was released or something like that. I have no idea if that can be substantiated or not. Again, that to me is hearsay at this point. I do think it's interesting though that it was mentioned by some dude in the comments there. So I figured I'd mention it here because who the fuck knows, it could be that way. And it's interesting too, by the way, if that is the case, because then you have like, of course, they're trying to do, it's literally them fucking just doing that shit is what it is, dude. Fucking government basically being like, oh yeah, gotta make white supremacy the top issue now, and and fucking, again, try to create a race war is what it is there, which is their end game at the end of the day. But then you had another one here with this other jackass named Ryan Sheed, Shead, where his dumbass, first of all, this guy is a leftist that claims to be a military vet and stuff like that, which we've seen this before with people like Casey Weinstein here in Ohio. Well, they'll sit there and run like quote unquote military vet platform kind of shit or whatever. And then they'll also try to run on like gun control platforms and stuff too in future elections after they get in office for the first time is what it is. And the problem with these people is they are the biggest scumbags on earth, dude. They are the worst representation of U.S. military in history is what it is. Most of them have never seen a day of combat in their entire lives. In Weinstein's case specifically, he was a literal lawyer at fucking military bases during his time in the military. Never saw a lick of combat, never saw the front lines, anything like that, dude. And yet wants to grab people's guns is what it is. Which is exactly what this Ryan douchebag is doing, exactly what I called his ass out last night on it. So he said, this was a NRA putting on a thing that said, Americans vehemently disagree with Joe on this. Millions of law-abiding citizens own and use AR-15s to defend themselves and their families. Didn't say how, by the way. The NRA did not say how on that thing. This idiot Ryan said, now an AR-15 is for home defense, question mark. It always has been, you idiot. You obviously haven't seen like multiple videos of people literally using ARs, AKs, etc. versus groups and gangs of people trying to home invade their homes to very good success. Anyways, Ryan got continued on and said, if you can't defend your home with a few handguns and a shotgun, you need to hit the range, not buy a bigger gun. Most Americans are tired of hearing mothers and fathers stand at a podium outside a school telling us about their children who they said killed or whatever the case be. And my response to him was, No, Ryan, we're sick and tired of leftist losers like you trying to gatekeep the Second Amendment and telling others what we can defend ourselves with, especially when it was your dem buddies in the 1990s who created the gun-free zones where all these events take place. So, anyway. And it's true, by the way. It was actually Biden and company that were the ones that created gun-free zones back in, I believe it was either 90 or 91, and it was during Bush Senior's administration. And it was all passed during Bush Senior's administration, right leading into Bill Clinton's administration. And then, of course, they, had used some other stuff back then to pass an assault was ban in 1994, also by Biden and company, as well as Feinstein, who's still in office right now and has dementia like a motherfucker. So is Biden, for that matter. But that's the problem right now, right? You have these people who, by all rights, the second that they put their names to any of that anti-gun shit, dude, they should have been cuffs slapped on their asses, yanked the fuck out of that chair that they were sitting in, and perp walked off to a fucking prison cell is what it is, dude. For deprivation of rights under color of law, for oath breaking, etc. For trying to deprive millions and millions of Americans of our God-given right to keep and bear arms is what it is. So, anyway. What is this? Documents about silent weapons for quiet wars. No. The only thing I ever heard about that was like a silent weapon was a heart attack gun, but that's been in existence for like 60, 70 years now. And by the way, it's conveniently been used a lot of times since then. People are pretty sure that Andrew Breitbart, the guy that created Breitbart News, was actually killed by that whole thing, as well as some other people, like various like KGB guys and stuff like that back in the day that were on U.S. soil. Because what it is they'll basically it's like a crazy gun or whatever. They just like point it at you from like X amount of distance or whatever. And it conveniently causes your heart to go out of rhythm and basically causes a heart attack is what it is. Pretty crazy shit. So, anyway. But yeah, I'm not the least bit surprised that you have all these motherfuckers and stuff like that, bitch. And then, of course, you got, going back to that CBS article, you got that dipshit Al Sharpton, who's a goddamn race pimp, talking about 19 buses came here from Florida today for the March on Washington, including one from Jacksonville. Well, I guess the people that were in that Dollar General probably should have been on that bus to Washington then, right? Because they'd probably be allowed today, actually, if they were, sadly. Or guess what? If one of them had been carrying a fucking gun legally, they could have shot back, man. They could have been the one that saved themselves and stuff like that. And that's the thing, man. Like, every time I go, I'll tell you what, every time I go out, it don't matter where I'm at, unless I'm in a government building or something like that. I'm not carrying, obviously, then, because, legalities and stuff like that's what it is. And I don't want to catch a federal felony is what it really is. But yeah, pretty much everywhere else, I'll be like, hey, let's go into this place, let's do this shit and whatnot. Because the thing is, like, I'm one of these people that really, since 2020, have become super hyper vigilant of where the fuck I'm at any given time, especially if I'm in a place like a Walmart or someplace like that, like a major grocery chain and shit, to where it's big enough to be like somebody walking in and trying to do another massacre like they did with El Paso and shit. And yeah, I'm always ready, dude. Like, I'm always ready just in case, like looking around, making sure nobody's, doing anything, or that nobody's going to walk through the doors and start firing and shit, dude. Because that's the thing. Like, I'd actually be the person, like, even if I died in that event, at least I'm going to be the person that engages the motherfucker and tries to take out the active shooter. And that's the way I feel about it, honestly. And that's what everybody should be doing, honestly, at this point, dude. Like, that's the mindset of every American at this point should have. If you're going to sit there and you're going to, bitch about safety and everything else like that, but yet not arm yourself to stop a potential threat, you're part of the problem, not part of the solution, honestly. Because you're going to sit there and bitch about, like, and this is why we need more policing, and this is why we need more militarization of policing, and this is why we need to grab guns, and it's like, no. This is why we need more people armed, and we need to be able to sue the fuck out of these fucking chains that try to disarm people with bullshit fucking signage. It don't even fucking equate to law at that point, dude. Because seriously, any single state in this country right now that's a constitutional carry state, any of those bullshit, oh, no guns inside place, or whatever the fuck they want to sit there and like have like the X out gun sign or whatever it is on their doors and stuff, it's completely null and void by constitutional carry at that point, dude. Because number one, they don't know if you're carrying or not, if you're constitutional carrying. Number two, it's a fucking sign. Signs are not law. And again, unless it's like a government building or a federal building or something like that, dude, where they're going to have metal detectors and shit like that, like, they're not going to be able to tell if you have a gun or not. And not only that, on top of everything else, they're not going to provide you security in these places. You're not going to have a security guard at the fucking door of a random gas station or a random, Dollar General, whatever the case be, dude. You're just not. So all they're doing is opening themselves up to a lawsuit based on that one because they're creating a space that somebody knows now is a gun-free zone where they can go commit a fucking massacre or a spree killing, whatever the case be. And that's the fucking problem right now. And that's really the problem I have entirely with people not suing the shit out of these companies is what it is, dude. Because it's like, yeah, if you're stopping people from arming themselves in your place of business and they get killed, their family should be able to sue the fuck out of your company and own your fucking company by the time it's all said and done. So, anyway. And then, of course, you got all these bullshit policies in place where they're like, well, if you're an employee of X, Y, or Z, you can't carry either kind of thing. Like, and that's what really pisses me off when it comes to, like, Uber drivers and, like, Lyft drivers and stuff like that. Number one, you are a contracted person. You do not work for that company. They are contracting you out as a third party who is using your own fucking vehicle. They can't tell you what you can and can't have in your vehicle, dude. And if you're dumb enough to disarm yourself when you have all kinds of crazy fuckers out there, hell, I saw a video probably in the last 3 weeks or so where it was this dude had gone to pick somebody up. He was like an Uber driver. I think maybe he did both, actually. It was Uber and Lyft both or whatever. He went to go pick this dude up or whatever the case be. Fucking, the driver, I think, was Latino, if I'm not mistaken. The criminal was black guy, obviously, like a young, probably 17 years old, 18, 19, someplace in there. Fucking whips out a gun, racks one into the chamber, puts it in the back of this dude's head, and the guy's like, bro, what the fuck? Like, get out of my vehicle, kind of thing, whatever. And then his fucking buddy, who was also there, went up to the driver's side window and shoved another gun at the side of the guy's head. And they could have easily killed this dude if they wanted to. And it's like, for what? To rob him of a few dollars he may have? Which in most cases isn't going to be that much anyway, because if you're using the apps and stuff, you're going to pay by card and shit, dude. So it's like, unless you're trying to carjack the guy to use his vehicle in a future crime that you're going to commit after that, another felony, if that be the case, then it's just ridiculous, dude. And it's also ridiculous anyway, because it's like, just be a fucking better person, for God's sakes, man. But thankfully, that guy was basically able to sort of talk his way out of some shit. And then I think the second guy that was in the backseat or whatever jumped out or whatever then, because they realized they weren't getting nothing off the guy or whatever the case be, and they just zipped it out of there. But yeah, like, this is the entire problem, dude. Like, it's just bullshit like that. And in reality, like, you should be armed yourself to fight back. And I remember actually there was one here recently in Ohio. It was probably like, it was either right before the Nashville shooting happened or it was like right after that, where you had, it was up in the Cleveland area there, Justin Bibbs area there, Democrat hell pocket there, where you had people faking to be cops and they would put like little blue and red like cherry lights or whatever inside their SUVs and shit. And they were pulling people over, and this dude said it was a gang of black males, by the way, and he also was a black male for that matter. He was a legal CCW holder in the state of Ohio at the time, which doesn't really matter anymore because, you have constitutional carry now. But the whole point is, he was going to go across state lines with this gun. He would need the concealed carry license, would it be, though? But anyway, so the entire point is, though, dude was legally armed in every single way possible. You had the fucking guys who were robbing him, this gang of dudes, had mini Dracos and other AK variants, and it was basically his handgun that was like, I think he said it was like, I can't remember exactly what he said it was. I don't think he said it was, I don't know if he said make or model. I think he just said like round capacity was like maybe like 15 rounds in there or something. And he's like, yeah, it was like my 15 rounds versus, these actual like rifle platforms basically is what it was. And he's like, yeah, I just give up my gun to him and my vehicle too, for that matter. And my thing is, it's like, I don't know if I would have gone that far, dude, because it's like, not, you basically just gave them another gun to use in their future fucking crimes, is what it is, dude. Like, yeah, it's kind of hard to justify that, bro. Like, again, like, what the hell were you carrying for if you weren't gonna, be able to use the damn thing? Now, granted, I could see if you think you're outnumbered and stuff like that, which in that case, that guy was. It was like 4 or 5 to 1. But even still, dude, like, most of these motherfuckers are pussy ass bitches. You fucking shoot one, or you even shoot at one for that matter. It's not even you have to shoot them. You don't have to hit them or whatever the case be. Even just shooting at them in self-defense, they'll usually just run like fucking cowards is what it is, man. Like, some will engage, but that's like a smaller percentage is what it is. But still, yeah, like if you fire first on them, dude, or whatever the case be, like you see they're about to like, carjack your ass, like, bang bang a couple times and they're fucking gone, dude, in most cases. Because again, they're pussies. And that's exactly why they're running fucking packs is what it is, man, because they want to threaten you in numbers when in reality, most of the fucking time they can do shit to you. And it's all about just overwhelming numbers is what it is. So, I don't know. I mean, I get the guy didn't want to die or whatever the case be, but like, in the same vein of things, it's like, but the thing of that is, it's like, bro, you could have done something. You would have actually had these guys caught probably at this point then. At least one of them would have been having to be hospitalized probably if you got a couple hits on target or whatever the case be then. And then, I'm sure he would have given up his buddies and if that'd be the case then. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, like several months later now, that gang is still out there doing shit now. They never did catch him, if I'm not mistaken then. So, but yeah, it's just ridiculous is what it is, man. And that's the problem right now. It's these people that don't really give a fuck and want to sit there and act like, oh, but I should be, doing whatever to defend myself, but you're not even going to defend yourself is what it is. And it's like, bro, like, come on. So, I don't know. It's just irritating is what it is, really. And it really is just infuriating in many cases. And again, I'm not trying to say like the guy should have, fought to the death or whatever the case be in that situation, but like simultaneously, it's like, yeah, dude, like what the hell's the point of having it if you're not actually going to use it kind of thing is what it is. So, but yeah, either way, it's a bunch of shit, dude. And I'm sick and tired of this fucking like race divide that the media is trying to push, the race divide that the fucking Democrats and their globalist buddies are trying to push, et cetera, at this point. So, yeah, needless to say, the Florida shooting 100% was a fucking false flag. Just the manifestos and shit alone that they claimed existed there and were released within like an hour or two, that alone shows you what you need to talk about there. It's just like the same thing with Top Supermarket, dude. It was what? Just a copy and paste of fucking Christchurch's manifesto there. So, almost guarantee this is the exact same shit here is what it is. But anyway, that's about it for today. I will be back tomorrow and doing 290. Obviously, I would already do 289 the other day on the other StreamYard there, and I was doing this one today. Episode 290 will be the one I was going to do the other day, which is basically how every beta male in this country can become a true alpha at one point in their life. So until then, we'll be back. I'll be back here in a few hours with Honda on his channel. We'll be doing the Gay Frog chat tonight. Probably bring up this topic again then and discuss that for a little bit, I'm sure. And then get into some other talks maybe or something like that. I'll tell you what, I was talking to some guys after the chat on Tuesday there, and I said that was one of the best panels we've had ever that I've been part of. And it was because we smoothly transitioned through a bunch of different topics that, I was all motivated by and everything else like that. I had good, conversation and everything else like that with these dudes about it. And it was nice. It was nice to be able to have that kind of thing where it's not something where I'm going to sit there and, Honda or whoever else is going to go off on like, oh yeah, and this is, the ins and outs of a motorcycle kind of thing. And I have no idea what any of that shit is. So I'm just going to like kind of tune out kind of deals what it is there because I have nothing to actually add to that conversation. Versus, yeah, we were talking about all kinds of good stuff. Then it was like 2A stuff on Tuesday. We had, how our food supply is all tainted and everything else like that and all that good shit like that. So, yeah, hopefully we'll have another one of those conversations at some point in the future or something similar to that be the case then. So, anyway. But, needless to say, my thoughts do go out to those, whose family members were killed yesterday in Jacksonville. It's sad. It's sad. It didn't need to happen. But the thing is, it's like, who's to say that they wouldn't have got killed at some point in the future by somebody else of their own race, if that be the case, dude. And again, the media is trying to hype this as a fucking thing to create race wars, is what it is, dude. The same thing with the rest of their globalists. Same thing with the rest of the globalist agenda at this point, honestly. Because that's what it is, dude. They want us divided. They know for a fact we're uniting as a country. They know for a fact we're racially uniting as a country in most cases. And yet they're going to try and racially divide us and always try to blame white supremacy every single time, when in many cases, what we're actually seeing is a huge-ass rise in black supremacy in this country. So, anyway. And again, it's all by design. It's all by design to create division, to create hate where it doesn't exist, etc., etc. And that's all I'm just about the end of the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hug your wife, hug your kids, hug your family today. Tell them you love them. You know, get on the phone, call up mom, dad, whatever. Tell them you love them, because you never know. Might be the last day you get a chance to say it to them, man. And that's all I'm just about the end of the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will be back tomorrow for another one. Until later, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good night. Later.